Howdy, folks. I just thought I'd tell you a little bit of what I learned uh, about going through Hurricane Irma, and it was not a pleasant time in my life, and it affected me for 7 years. Anybody with any bit of intelligence will know what I'm talking about. But I will tell you, as you can see, I'm kind of slouched down, trying to get out of the sunlight. But yeah, hurricane. Everybody paints a rosy and picture rosy scenario. Everybody offers help, but what I can tell you, people that are going to offer you help are going to be full of crap. They're not going to follow through. I had a very terrible situation happen to me, and I know a lot worse has happened to other people. But my landlord would not let me stay in the residence when Irma was coming, even though it was a hurricane. It was built for, it was a new house, like less than 10 years old. Wouldn't let me stay there. It was ridiculous. But so then I had to relocate. Basically, my only option was to stay at a bait and tackle shop that was closer to the shoreline, which was a greater hazard. Not much help. So I was watching all the weather forecast, the news forecast, and then they called for a 12-foot water surge from street level, and I was in a building that the ceilings were 9 feet tall on the inside. I'm like, all right, plan C. So then I had to go try and seek out gas, and this part of Lee County, Florida, there is no high ground. So they called for a 12-foot water surge, water surge, whatever you want, however you want to pronounce it. But it's not good. It's going to destroy a lot of vehicles. So I tried to head north, and I did, but I had very limited gas because I had not planned to evacuate because I thought I had accommodations. Both fell through. Failure number one, landlord. Failure number two, where I was with my employer. By the way, my employer never offered me to stay with him. That'll come up later in life. It won't be on this video. But worked there 15 years. Gratitude. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. So I start heading north, trying to evacuate with minimal gas. Cannot find a gas station anywhere that can help me. So I am on the phone with Florida Highway Patrol, trying to roll north, and I was trying to do the Gas Buddy app, but it was very difficult to do that and exit the danger zone at the same time. I was having a hard time typing, finding things. So I was finally on the phone with the Highway Patrol. Very nice lady. I don't know if she was a trooper or a dispatcher. Very nice lady. I totally have nothing but respect for them. So I'm telling her my problem. I said, I probably have less than 20 miles left in my tank. And so I'm just trying to stay alive. I already told her the problems. She said, what area? I forget what exit I was. I told her where I was basically. And oh no, let me back up. I have to back up in retrospect because that wasn't the accurate sequence of events. I called the emergency hurricane hotline or whatever they had called it during that time, and I'm telling the people, like, I'm in a crisis here, and she tells me I was in a little Ford Escort, little SUV, a Ford Escape, not an Escort, excuse me, Ford Escape. So she tells me, okay, get off at the next exit, take a left, go a mile and a half down the road, and you'll be at such and such mall. I'm like, great. Is there a shelter in the mall? She goes, no, just park up next to to the building, and I'm like, lady, you're out of your freaking mind. It's a Category 5. This is no joke. No. And then I just hung up. I was like, so this is, I'm talking to people for professional help and real assistance. And she's telling me, you and your Ford Escape, just park as close as you can next to the mall and hope for the best. I'm like, you're an idiot. You're an absolute idiot. Because I think a Category 5 is like 170 mile per hour winds or something ridiculous. But I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I hang up. That's when I talked to the Florida Highway Patrol. The lady was real helpful. Not escorted me, but I asked her to please stay on the phone, and was able to guide me to the gas station. They still had fuel. I asked her, I said, please do not hang up from me until I know I have a full tank of gas. She's like, no problem. She's a really cool lady. If she, I don't know if she was a trooper or dispatcher. Either way, it does not matter. Very nice, professional person. So I was able to fuel up, start heading north, and immediately after I disconnected my phone call with the Florida Highway Patrol, my phone became totally disabled. It wasn't like a dead battery. It was just my phone. I don't know what happened. My phone became fried, totally disabled. So I'm like, oh man, this is great. So then I head north. I'm just trying to keep driving north. And it was crazy because the further I got away from the projection of the storm, the crazier it got. As I got closer to like Tampa and north of Tampa, like people were literally fighting and arguing at the gas pumps. It was just like ridiculous. But I will say the state of Florida did a really good job at that time because they had they anticipated the evacuation route, and there was a lot of like porta potties set up at even at gas stations because lines were so long. I thought that was really cool. But so I just kept going, and I had a tablet. It didn't serve as a phone, but I had a tablet. So my phone is totally disabled now. I have a vehicle that's not in very good condition, and I'm just trying to keep moving. I've got nowhere to go. So I go to a large, probably the largest fishing social media group in the world, and I'm asking for assistance as I'm trying to type on this tablet, and people start, making a bunch of smart remarks. And so I'm just trying to stay alive. I'm trying to evacuate, and I'm trying to type. But the whole time I'm trying to type, the traffic was getting real bad. It's hard to type on a tablet while you're evacuating a Category 5 hurricane and still not be afraid. So I'm doing all this, and then like, oh my God, the wave of negativity came in from me trying to ask for help. I was just looking for, honestly, I was just hoping someone could give me some hope where I could, at least pull over, chill out for an hour, hour and a half and rest, and then, keep moving. And this Facebook group prides himself on being like a family and everything. I was like, felt really let down. So I kept typing, or texting, when I could. And then I finally got up near where the what's that, I-75 and 10 or whatever the routes are. I know I-10 goes west. I got up to that region, and I was just driving and fueling up, and I kept moving. And finally, I get a reply. I don't know where that is, Gainesville, we're 70 in that region. I don't know where, but I was getting pretty close to get on I-10, and somebody finally replies in that group, and they said, I can help you. I'm like, oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I said, where are you located? And they said, Biloxi. I'm like Biloxi, Mississippi? They're like, yeah. I'm like, thank you. I said, I appreciate that. Let me get back to you. And I was appreciative of someone who reached out, but that was like really far away. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, just like Murphy's Law was on my back. So I'm driving and driving and I didn't have no idea where I'm going. I'm driving, and then finally I get another message from a guy. He says, I can help you out. He said, I'm near Pensacola. So we started communicating, and it was an FWC officer. And to this day, I can never repay him for his kindness. He pretty much put me up for about 2 days. He still was not close to where I was, but it was the best offer I had, and was a hell of a lot closer than Biloxi, Mississippi. So he really took care of me. I was able to survive, and at the same time, I almost forgot this part. My entire brake system on the front of my vehicle goes out. Nothing. Shot. So I've got no phone, no brake system, and I'm operating off a tablet. And the whole time I had been trying to communicate with my employer to let them know I took the laptop because I didn't want it to be submerged in water. I didn't even take any of the electronics, the cords, the power cords, or nothing. So basically I was accused of like all kinds of theft. It was just like ridiculous. One guy, when I was going to stay at the bait shop, a friend offered some like a pew in case there was like looters. So so now that's involved in a mix. But that was the bait shop. So now I'm traveling up, and I'm doing all this. I finally get to this FWC officer who was in the middle of like 5,000 or 10,000 acres. Really nice place, but boy, it'd be hard to find on your own. It was like really difficult. But one of the first things I told him, I said, look, I let him know, hey, I've got a pew with me, and it's it's not mine. I just want to let you know if you have a problem with that. I just wanted to let you know. He was really cool. He's like, no, do what you got to do. He was really cool. So he puts me up. It just like then trying to call FEMA, United Way, all these different agencies was a total waste of time, 100% waste of time. And I kid you not, I made probably 60, 70 phone calls to agencies. I called agencies over and over again, and nobody would help me. And because I was so close to the Alabama line, when you called, I think it was United Way, it would transfer to Alabama, and then they would say, well, if you're in Florida, we can't. I'm like, damn, it's like the number I'm calling is showing up for this, it was just crazy. It was just a big circle. It was like dog chasing his tail. I kept trying to go through the proper channels. If I wasn't a single female with 3 kids, I couldn't get assistance anywhere. Unfortunately, I was a single white male that is trying to stay alive, and nobody would help me. Literally, nobody would help me. So it was crazy. So I ended up having to purchase a new phone. I had to spend a ridiculous amount of money on my brake system. And then I went back to total chaos. And I'm not trying to depress people, but FEMA, as far as food assistance, no food assistance came out to anybody in Lee County until 2 months later. So that's the reality of what you're gonna see and possibly incur in the state of Florida. I'm not bashing. I'm just telling the reality of what happened to me, Hurricane Irma. I will say one thing. The one thing that made me cry and tear up as a grown adult, was as I'm heading north, trying to escape the danger zone. I see heading south on 75, there would be like 12 fire trucks. Then the next batch of vehicles would be like 12 FP&L electric company. FP&L is Florida Power and Light. Then the next 12 vehicles would be like 12 ambulances. Then the next 12 vehicles you would see they look like prison buses, but it was the military buses that had very small peepholes in. And they're all going into a Category 5 hurricane. Then you would see like just basically your military vehicles. It was crazy because I think they were all in 12s. It was like they're all going down, and like people are gonna die, and these people are going into the danger zone, which to me I almost thought was like extremely stupid, but they're responding to what they signed up for. I thought it was like a suicide mission, to be honest with you, and it tore me up. But Category 5 is no joke. A 3 is not a joke either. But I feel sorry for the people ahead because there's so much hoarding ahead, and the greatest disappointment was the FEMA food assistance came out like 2 months later. It was ridiculous. And there's so many other financial aspects that people, if you have a loan or something through an FDIC insured bank, FEMA will help you out with that. They can defer that. If you have a loan through a private lender, you are screwed. You're not protected. FEMA or the federal government cannot protect you through a private lender on a loan. And what I found, nobody's going to work with you. So I'm encouraging everybody to try and make the right decisions. I know this sounds very negative. I'm just trying to tell you the reality of what I went through in Hurricane Irma, and it can be very, very sad. I mean, sadder than you can ever imagine. You would think like FEMA would be out in a few days with handing out food and all this stuff. I will say the National Guard the National Guard did set up about a week. I won't say a week, maybe a little bit less. They were handing out like the MREs and stuff like that. That was nice, but it was a great gesture. But it was you just felt like the federal government should have been a little bit more prepared to help out in a little bit better way. I know it sounds very negative. I experienced probably the downfall of my life was how my credit report was affected by that situation. And there's a lot of things that could go on with that. I could go on and on, but I'm just trying to let you know it's the federal government makes it look all rosy, and there's all these aid agencies out there, and they can disappoint you. Let me tell you, they can really disappoint you. If you don't fit into the right category of your race, age, amount of children you have, or whatever, you're pretty much on the outside looking in. So I do wish everybody the best in this upcoming Hurricane Ian and any other hurricane. And when people tell you that if you need anything, I'm here to help you. Now that's a statement most people make to just make themselves feel good. I had to lower my threshold of pride and reached out to the one person that said, if you need anything at all, give me a call. Nope. Zero assistance. So if you're gonna make a statement about helping somebody, at least follow through. Appreciate it, people. I wish everybody the best. Stay strong.